Hello everyone. Hello, it's Sylvia. So today we will be talking about, for me it's a very interesting topic. We will be talking about being emotionally dependent on somebody else. Okay, this is a pattern that I have noticed in many people, and not only with people I work with, but also in general. I find that people find it so easy to attach ourselves and being emotionally really depending on other people, like emotionally depending on others, really. And it's about relationships, not only romantic relationships, but also it could be relationships with parents, it could be relationships with friends. So that is not acceptable when it comes to your happiness. This is not how you're going to create happiness. You can't create happiness, you can't be happy if your happiness is dependent on somebody else, if it's dependent on external thing, or if it's dependent on somebody else. That's not how you create happiness. Happiness is a mindset, it's a state. But if you are feeling that you depended on someone for you to be happy, automatically, subconsciously, you're giving yourself a message that I can't achieve it by myself, I'm not good enough, I can't be happy just because of who I am and what I want. And also, that also prevents you from taking responsibility for who you are and your life. And if you don't take responsibility for your life and who you are and for your happiness, being dependent on somebody else, it's not going to be healthy. You can't do it. You can't depend your emotional state onto somebody else. Number one, because you will become a burden for that other person, but also you will feel like you can't do things by yourself. That will only amplify the feeling of not being good enough, not being worthy, and that's what you don't want. So that's the topic for today. So let's go back a little bit. How people, in first place, how people get dependent on somebody else emotionally. How does it work? How does it happen? The process is quite easy. Okay, when your self-worth is down, when you questioning or where you doubting yourself, and you with somebody else, and you feel like you have them on the pedestal, you think that they're more important, you think they're more smarter, you think they can handle well their emotions. When you feel like you're not good enough yourself, you tend to attach yourself to that stronger person. Okay, and then you depend, your whole happiness then depends on that other person. It's like the whole person becomes your whole life, like you forgetting about yourself, like the self, really yourself, it's almost not existing. Like you're forgetting about yourself so much that your needs, your wants, your hobbies, your career, your everything that you ever wanted, out the window, because you're so focused on that other person, because you're becoming over occupied with your emotions, with the whole day. Let's say you're going to plan about the other person, like that. Usually that is when the romantic relationships, it's creating, and it's new relationship, we tend to go all in for the other person, and we think and we plan about and around the other person's needs. And what happens in that circle is that we are forgetting about ourselves. We are forgetting who we were before we entered that relationship. We are forgetting what we want. We are forgetting about our goals. We might then, because we put the other person so much on the pedestal, we tend to go down. It's like, oh yeah, like, you do you, like you make sure you accomplish your own dreams, and I can wait. When that happens, you forgetting and you detaching yourself from yourself. You detaching yourself from who you are. You detaching yourself from the real you. And on top of that, when you do, and when you go like this, like it's more, you know, like this, when it comes to yourself, you're detaching yourself completely, you're losing yourself. You have no idea anymore who you are, what you want, what is your life. You just don't know that anymore, because your focus was so much on the other person, and yet you then become emotionally dependent on the other person. So you can't be happy if the other person isn't happy. You can't be happy if the other person doesn't make you happy. So then you slipping into, oh, you the one who's responsible for my happiness, you better make me happy. Then you starting to create like loads of expectations towards the other person. Then you create, oh, I want this and I want this from you. I want you to give me support. I want you to listen to me. This is my emotions. I want you to listen to them. Number one, your partner is not your therapist. Number two, your partner isn't your diary. That's not your journal. Your partner is not your journal. Don't use your partner as your journaling. Your journal. It's not happening. It's not healthy. Yes, they can support you, but it's your responsibility to look after your emotions, to look after yourself, wherever that is. And when you're so much depending on the other person, you're more clingy, you're more needy, and then both of you, especially your partner, starts to feel like trapped, maybe. They start to feel like they can't debrief anymore. They can't think you can't think by yourself, like solely on yourself, and you can't rely on your own decisions. You always kind of have to come back to the other person and make sure they agreed to what you can want or feel. So your whole life become dependent on the other person. So that creates a huge unhealthy disbalance in the relationship, because number one, your partner then is looking after himself or herself, and on top of that, they feel like they need to look after you, which is not true. You're an adult and your partner is an adult. You both have responsibility to look after each other. You two don't become one. That's the belief that majority of people have. Oh, two people being married or two people being in relationships, in loving relationship, now we become one. No, you don't. You don't become one. You're still you, and he is still him, or she is still her. You are you, and he is he. You come together. You combine. You make it work like this. You're not like that. It can't work because when this is too clingy, there is no room for development. There is no room for growth. There is no room for, let's talk about things. Let's see, when you stay you and you still have your own hobbies, your own self, and the person has himself, then hi Thomas, hi. Then that makes it more interesting. That makes it easier to actually work. Then that creates more topics to talk about. That creates more, organic relationship. Like when it's not forced, when it's not needy. Both of you are in the relationship because you're choosing to be, not because you feel like you have to. And when you work like that together with each other, there's no kind of need of the feeling, not need, but there's not feeling that you actually are a burden to another person, or your partner doesn't feel like you a burden to them. Like it's more welcoming. It's more, now when you like this, there's more space to love. There's more space to to respect each other. When you like this, that relationship then is based on fear. And when you at this stage, when you completely lost yourself, when there is no self, when you have no idea who you are anymore in this relationship, when there is no idea what you want and where you're going, let's be honest, that's not attractive. That's not attractive. So if the other person has all those dreams and is looking after his dreams or her dreams, and he's, chasing his dreams, but you became emotionally dependent on him, or he needs to go home now and look after you, that's not attractive. He doesn't want to come to you and look after you because you're so emotionally dependent. That's not healthy relationship. That's not how you build a marriage. That's not how you create yourself and your life. Because otherwise, you are creating yourself, not him. So stop blaming him if he's not meeting your expectations, if he's not being there for you all the time. That's not his responsibility to be there all the time, 24/7. Every time you will need someone to talk to, and when he's not available, it's not his fault. He has his own life to live as well, and he needs to be himself too. That's your responsibility, to look after yourself, to know who you are, to create the self, to look after your own dreams. When you do that, and when he does that, you come together and it works, and that's attractive, because then you can oh my god, listen to this, I had this idea and this is what I'm going to do, and this is the next step I need to do, and oh my god, that's amazing, let's celebrate that. But when you're emotionally dependent, what do you really have to offer other than your neediness and your clinginess and your fear? What else do you have to offer? Do you see how much then your partner can withdraw from you? And that never works. That never works. Because you might feel like you're invisible. You will just, as I said at the beginning, that just amplifies the feeling of being not good enough, not worthy. Your partner might feel like he's trapped now, that he is with someone who is not attractive anymore. You don't want that. You don't want to be in that relationship if your partner thinks you're not attractive. You don't want that. You want to feel attractive to your partner. You want to be attractive. So that's the romantic relationship. But we tend to be clingy and emotionally dependent, not only on our romantic partners. That's when it happens the most. But some people are emotionally dependent to their parents. They're adults, but they still feel like they can't make any decision before calling mommy or before calling daddy, because just to make sure, do you think that's right? I'm just thinking about going on a holiday. What do you think about that? Should I go or should I not go? I want to change the job. Do you think I should change the job? Tell me what you think. It's like we are afraid to make decisions on ourselves in case it's going to be a bad decision, or in case we fail at things. But when we do that, the fact is that we are failing ourselves. We are failing in trusting ourselves. We're failing who we are. We're failing to develop ourselves as humans and grow as humans. That's your job. That's your responsibility. Look after yourself. Trust yourself. Even if you did leave your job because for whatever reason you were not happy, you left that job and you were looking for somewhere else, do it. You don't need permission. You're bigger, you're a big boy, you can do those decisions. Like, you can make those decisions. So what if it ends up being the wrong decision? There's no such a thing as the wrong decision. If you left it because you were not happy, that itself is your success. Because subconscious message when you do that is, I can do it. So what? Like, even if it's, I could do it for myself. I felt unhappy, so I did something about it. So that makes me feel I'm capable of looking after myself. That's the subconscious message you're giving yourself. So think about, again, when you want to feel like you're dependent on someone else, because really what you're doing, you're not taking responsibility for who you are in your own life, and more, you're expecting the other person to take that responsibility for you. That's not right. It never works well. Number one, in relationships, and number two, for yourself. Because when you feel like this, you're actually making yourself being at a huge risk of creating depression or being very anxious. You don't want that. So think about it. What is more scary? For now, for today, what is more scary? To make a decision, to start taking maybe some steps that will help you find who you are, to maybe do something for yourself without looking for permission everywhere else. Let's say if you feel sad, take out your book, your journal about it. Ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? What is my feeling are telling me? What is the message behind it? Why am I feeling like this? Rather than bringing it to your partner, you do the work, and then you can sit with your partner and guess what I find out about myself today? I'm sad because because that's what happened, and now this is what I'm going to do. Would that conversation would be not more interesting for both of you? I think so. I feel like, but we're so afraid of being alive. We're so afraid of taking the step, and so we're so afraid to be who we really meant to be, There's actually, there was a book I was actually reading last week, or it was 2 weeks, I don't know. And there was one sentence that really, really stayed with me from that book. There was, well, not only one sentence, but there's it said something like, we humans are more afraid. No. We humans are feeling more comfortable in staying in our shadow and being there and staying there than coming into our light. We're too afraid. If we would choose between being in the shadow and no, I can't do this, we prefer that than actually letting that go and being in the light of, this is who I am, I can't do this. I will listen here all day. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. But, isn't that true? Isn't that true? We prefer to stay in the darkness, in the shadow. No, I can't. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. This is difficult. This is this. And then shaking this out and be like, you know what? It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but let's try it. Who would I be if I wasn't afraid of making that decision? Who would I be if I would feel happy? Who would I be if I had dreams? Who would I be if I would say I like myself without doubting that? Who would I be, or how would I feel if I would say, you know what, I'm actually loving myself. I'm so proud of who I am, and I'm not afraid of saying it out loud. You see, we always think that we need somebody else to be happy. We need somebody else to, we need permission from somebody else for us to do something. We need permission to make big decisions, to make life changes, to change ourselves. But the fact is we don't. The only permission you actually need is from yourself. It's from yourself. That's the only relationship that is the most important relationship that you're creating. But also, that relationship you have with yourself is enough for you to make decisions, for you to feel good enough, for you to feel loved, for you to feel worthy and be worthy. You don't need any other validations of that. You don't need your partner, you don't need your mother, you don't need your sibling to tell you, or your friend to tell you that you're good enough. You don't need people to tell you those things. Because when they do, it goes in and goes out. Like one ear and kind of stays, oh, that made me feel good, and out. That's ego. That feeds your ego. Those compliments, and when you feel like you're loved by someone, when you don't love yourself, when you don't give yourself that permission, that goes in and out. You don't allow yourself to really feel it because you can't, because you don't give that to yourself. But when you starting to liking yourself, when you starting to validate your emotions, your decisions, and say, you know what, this is what I want, this is how I feel, I'm going to do it regardless, and I'm not going to question my decision. I'm just gonna stay with it and allowing myself to do it. I'm going to say that I like myself. I'm going to feel like I do like myself. Hi, Brenda! Oh, such a nice surprise. When you do that to yourself, when you allowing yourself to feel that self-love towards yourself, then when someone says to you, you know what, you're such a great person, you're this, you're that, that then is then you're allowing yourself to really feel it, and that stays with you because you allowed yourself to open and to receive it. It's not only feeding the ego anymore, you know it. It's not a need because you know it. You know you're good enough. You know you're lovable. You know you can do those things, and you can make decisions. You know, and this is your heart. So this is why we can't be so emotionally dependent on other people, because that makes us disconnect from who we really are. So that really disconnects from our heart. It disconnects us from what we can and cannot do. It creates illusion about ourselves. Like we tend then to keep ourselves small, and we don't want that. Why would we want that? But decision is yours. Decision is yours, how you're going to treat yourself and how you're going to take responsibility of yourself. Its decision is yours. And if you still want to be emotionally dependent on somebody else, I guarantee you won't be happy, and that relationship won't last forever. But if you're going to start working on yourself and start taking responsibility for who you are, then your success is guaranteed, because there's no other way. When you love yourself, when you know you are good, when you know your worth, when you know that you're lovable, you don't need approval. You can actually bring that, and it's more fulfilled. It's more. Thank you, Brenda. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So that's how we create a solid relationship with others and with ourselves. That's how we create and amplify the good enough feeling, your feeling of worthiness, feeling of, the self. You really need to look after yourself, and you need to allow the self to develop. You need to, the self, when I'm saying the self, it's your psyche, it's like your soul. You have it, and this is not, it's more spiritual than anything else. You need to touch yourself on a soul level. Like you really need to allow yourself to be who you are rather than keeping yourself small, believing you can't do something just because it makes you uncomfortable. Your desires are coming from your soul. They're not coming from your ego, because your ego will always say, no, this is too hard, this is too difficult, you can't do this. You can. You can. This is why it's so important that you will connect with your heart, because that's for who you really are. Okay, my dear people, I think I have said enough for today. I think I gave you a lot to think about, and I hope I gave you a lot to bring and to reconsider your relationships with your partners, but also with yourself. And if you feel like you are clingy, and if you feel like you are needy, and you don't really know how to, other than what I did today, what I said today, there's few things you can do. Number one, you really need to look into your attachment style, because your attachment is really the base for all your self-concept, of all your beliefs, whether you're lovable or not. Look into attachment. If you really feel like I'm not sure like how to do it, and I don't want to be clingy, but I don't know how to do, that's how look into your attachment style. Whether you have insecure attachment, there's 3 insecure attachments. You can go to my website. I actually have an article on attachments. Yes. So look into that. Look into your attachment, and you will be able then to see, okay, I'm this attachment style. What do I need to do to really get, number one, connect with myself, but also to make this relationship being healthy, so I don't need to depend on it, but I just want to be happy in it. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing, I have, again, on my website, I will, on my website, there is a masterclass, The Fearless Soul. I talk a lot about, I explain very clearly about attachments. I talk about, how to be confident, what is confidence, how to gain it, how to feel more worthy, and really it's about becoming fearless of who we really are. This is why I call it the Fearless Soul, because really I'm helping you connect with who you are, with yourself, and develop that, but from the basic, because I believe attachments is it's a huge thing in our life. We can't really, not looking into our attachment. We really need to look into other aspects, but attachment is kind of the base. So those are things for you. And you can also visit my YouTube channel if you wish, under my name. There's loads of other videos about relationships, self-esteem, and they're all for free, so you can watch away whatever you need. I'm sure you're going to find it. And I think at the end of this video I will put some links, so it'll be easier for you to find. So for today, I want to really thank you for all of you to be here and for your kind comments. I finally could see Facebook comments. Finally, it unblocked me. So I'm so happy, because it was for so long I couldn't see your comments. So that makes my life so much easier, that I actually can see your comments now, because now it makes more of interaction with each other. So hi Julie, hi. So again, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next week with different topic, with lots of love, like always. Bye.